Okay, that is a very good one. Dele Simeon, Daniel, and Oluranti. You guys are all hearing me. All right, we are starting right away. I want to answer one of the most popular questions that most of my students always ask me, and that is the system specification for Revit. What kind of system can one buy to use in running Revit architecture? And the answer I always give them is any system you are using for Revit architecture should be something like 4 gig RAM and above, but preferably it should be at least 8 gig RAM and above. And if you are planning to use that system for Lumion, then I recommend that you go for a system that have dedicated graphics card. If you have not yet bought the system you want to use to run Revit, then I recommend that if you have the money, go for the system that have dedicated graphics card. The reason is Lumion cannot run on a system that does not have dedicated graphics card. And another name for dedicated graphics card is dedicated video memory. So if you are planning to go for Revit and Lumion, then I recommend that you go for a system that have dedicated graphics card. And the size of dedicated graphics card I recommend should not be less than 2 gig. We have 2 gig dedicated graphics card, 4 gig dedicated graphics card, 6 gig. And the higher the dedicated graphics card, the more expensive the system become, and the faster the system will be. So if you are planning to use your system for Lumion, then ensure that you have dedicated graphics card. But if you are not planning to go for Lumion, in that case, dedicated graphics card is not necessary to run Revit. And I hope that is understood. Now let me share my screen now so that I will show you how you can identify the size of your dedicated graphics card, so that if you are the one that is going to the market to buy your system, you can actually check the kind of dedicated graphics card you have and the size. Let me share my screen so that I will show you how you can check the size of your dedicated graphics card. Now if you want to check whether your system have dedicated graphics card, simply come to empty space on your desktop like I am now. You can see my cursor now. When you come to your empty space on your desktop, right click. When you right click, you will see the type of dedicated graphics card you are having. In my own case, you can see this is NVIDIA, and you can see that NVIDIA control panel. Can you see that on my own? Okay, so if I click now, it will take me to that NVIDIA control panel. Okay, now it has loaded. You click on system information. You click on system information, and as I click on system information now, you can see dedicated video memory. In my own case, it is 4096 megabytes, and it is GDRS. You can see the size of my own dedicated graphics card, and that is 4 gig. But if you can afford a system with 4 gig dedicated graphics card, that is the best. But if you cannot afford a system with 4 gig dedicated graphics card, then you can go for a system that have 2 gig dedicated graphics card. Alright, so that is how you can check the size of your dedicated graphics card, and I hope that is well understood. Now let's get started with our Revit training. And today we are going to cover basic knowledge of Revit architecture. That is for complete beginner. I want to assume that you have not used Revit before. And if you have used Revit before, ensure that you stay with us to the end so that you will be able to ask me questions at the end of the class. Alright, now you can see my desktop, and on my desktop here I have 3 versions of Revit on this particular system. I have version 2017, I have version 2019, and version 2023. Okay, but for the sake of today's training, I will be using version 2019. So if you want to launch your Revit, if your icon, your shortcut is on your desktop, there are 2 ways you can launch your Revit program. One of the ways is to right click on your shortcut and click open, or you double click on it, it will launch the application. Right now I use right click and I click open and it is loading. So let's wait for it to load. It's not going to take too much time. It is still loading. Ensure you stay to the end of this class, because I'm sure you are going to benefit a lot from this training. Ensure you don't miss out. Alright, now the Revit has loaded, and the version we are using is version 2019. You can see on this line I have some of the projects I have worked on in the past, and down here you see the families I have worked on in the past. If you have never worked on any project before, you may not see this. You are going to see default Revit samples and default Revit families. Okay, what if I want to launch a new project? If I want to launch a new project, what I will do is to click on new, and if I click on new, it will bring up this dialog box, and here I am going to click on browse. I want to go to library, so I will go to library, and when I click on library here, I can go to my library from here, and in my library here you can see this particular Revit doesn't have some of those default Revit templates. This particular one, this particular installation doesn't have those default Revit templates. And in case you happen to have a Revit installation like that, so what I will recommend for you is to use an existing project. So in this particular case, I will recommend you use existing project. And if you don't have any existing project, I will show you how you are going to get existing projects from me at the end of this training. So don't worry yourself about how to get existing projects. It is not going to be a big deal. Okay? Now I have opened an existing project now. You can see it here. I've opened an existing project. And assuming I want to use this as my template, all I need to do is to save it as a copy. So I click on File, I click on Save As, and I click on Project. The reason I'm saving it as a new copy so that I will be able to alter it, I will be able to adjust it, and after adjusting it, my original copy will still be there. Alright, so I'm going to save it as a new file. Let me see if I have, okay, Revit. I open this folder and I'm going to give it a new name, Revit Tutorial for Complete Beginner. That is the name I give it. Okay, then on the option here, I make sure that the backup is only 1, because if you do not make sure that the backup is 1, sometimes you can have up to 20 backup, and it's going to load your system. It's going to fill your memory, your hard disk, and that would not be a desirable outcome. Okay, so I'm going to click OK now. I hit save. Okay, now I have saved it as a new project, and in this particular one I can do anything I want to do with it. I can scatter it anyhow I want to scatter it. Now it has saved. So if I want to use this as a template now, while I am on 3D now, you can see I am on 3D. I simply highlight all these and delete it. I will delete it. Okay. Then if I go to the floor plan, you can see this floor plan is from the project I am using now. I will double click on it, and you can see these are from the original project. So I select all these and delete all of them. I delete all of them. I can even delete all these section line. I will tell you how to create your own section line later. Yes, I'll delete it. I will delete this one. Yes. Then I delete this one too. Okay, you can see the environment is empty now. And there are some things that may actually be hidden in the original projects. So if I want to check if other things are hidden on this plan, all I need to do is to click on this icon that look like bulb. If I click on this icon that look like bulb, it will reveal those things that are hidden. Okay, now you can see those things that are hidden, or you can see all of them, and part of those things are grid lines. So I can select them, and once I select them, you see on the top right corner here, you see unhide category. So I click on hide, and all those things that the categories are hidden, you can see I have unhidden them. And for this section lines, I will select them and click on unhide elements. Okay, and these ones that are showing red are the ones that are currently hidden. So if you want to unhide them, select them and unhide them. Then I select this and unhide it. Then select these ones and unhide it. I believe you are following my cursor. Okay, so now I have unhidden all the elements. Okay, we are left with one elevation marker here. So I select it and unhide it. Then I have unhidden all other ones. Okay, now you see there is another red something here. This one is called survey point. You don't have to delete this one. And there is another one here. There's another one here. Most of the time, they may not be separate like this. If you are working from a new environment, you may see two of them at the same point. But our concern is not on this one part for now. So the main concern is don't delete these survey points. Don't delete them. Leave them, because it's very, very important in your project. Okay, so we want to get out of this hidden and unhidden environment. So if you want to go out, if you look at the top right corner, you will see toggle reveal hidden element mode. So I will simply click on this, and once I click there, you see that red rectangle signifying that we were in hidden mode is now taken off. Okay, now we can now see those things we have unhidden before. You can see those things we have unhidden before, and all these are from my former project. So if I like, I can delete them. If I like, I can delete them. And if you are deleting, make sure you do not delete elevation marker. You can delete section lines, you can delete grid lines, but don't delete elevation marker. Now let me show you what is elevation marker. You see these four things, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are called elevation markers because they are the ones that are going to give you your elevation in Revit. And that is why you are not expected to delete them. All the designs you'll be doing should be around this place. You can move it backward in case this place is not enough to accommodate your design. Let's say, depending on the scale we are using, for instance, the project I'm working on is so large that this place cannot accommodate it. In that case, what I will do is to move the elevation marker backward. If I grab this one and I select move, I can move it backward. Can you see that? And drop it. I can also select this one and I select move and I move it backward. Then select this one and select move, then move it backward. Then also select the fourth one and move it backward. Alright, so I believe this should be able to accommodate the project I want to design. If it still cannot accommodate the project you want to design, then you still have the liberty to move them backward. Alright, now you have known what is elevation marker now. So let's move to another important thing you need to know as a beginner in Revit architecture. Now, how do you navigate? Sometimes you want to go to your floor plan, you want to go to elevations, you want to go to sections. How do you navigate around it? The parts of Revit interface that give you ability to navigate between different views are called project browser. You can see this thing I'm holding now is called project browser. And if your Revit installation is new, most of the time it will be somewhere here. And this one you are seeing here is called property palette. These two things are very, very important in your Revit because they give you ability to navigate inside your Revit. If I want to go to the elevation, I come to project browser. If I want to go to floor plan, I come to project browser. If I want to go to section, I come to project browser. So this project browser, property palette, they are very, very, very important. All right. For me, I decided to dock my own project browser on this side, and that is why you are seeing them here. So as I'm telling you now, you know that I personally dock my own to this side. By default, it is always below property palette. So this is property palette, and this property palette is used to adjust properties of materials in Revit. You know properties, things like color, the materials you are using, the size of the window, the thickness of the wall. All these things are called properties, and it is on this property palette that we adjust those things. So these two things are very, very important. Now, some new user in Revit, maybe while working, you mistakenly click on this X icon. If you mistakenly click on this X icon, you see that property palette is gone. And perhaps you also mistakenly click on this X icon on project browser. You see that right now there is no property palette, there is no project browser. And if you are new in Revit, at this point you may not know what to do. You will get confused. But if you are in this training tonight, I am going to show you what to do. So there is no cause for alarm. If at any point in time you are no longer seeing your project browser or your property palette, all you need to do is to come to empty space like I am now, right click, and the moment you right click, below that dialog box that is going to come, you see project browser. Just follow your cursor and click on project. You see browser, then click on project browser, and the moment you click on it, you see that it has come back to the original position. Okay, then we are left with property palette. We are yet to bring in property palette. So for you to bring in property palette, you right click again and you click on properties. You will see that your property palette has come up. Very good. So we have been able to solve all that. Okay, then the next thing you will want to know is tabs. In Revit we have tabs. All these things you are seeing here are called tabs. We have architecture tab, structure, steel, system, insert. All these things are very, very important. Once in a while, maybe in my videos you'll be hearing, you go to architecture tab, you go to modify tab. All these things are important, especially if you are studying with videos. You need to understand this Revit interface so that when your instructor is mentioning those things, you will understand them. Okay, so these are tabs. And right now I am on architecture tab, and you can see there is another tab here that is called Lumion. You may not have this one. I am having this Lumion because I have a plugin that is installed in my system that has to do with Lumion. So that is why you are seeing Lumion tab on this. And all my Lumion students also have this. Okay, so when you see this, don't be confused. It's because I am using this system to run Lumion. Okay, that's out of the way. Okay, now let's look at, now since this is a past project, before we start working on our design, very important thing you need to look at is your levels, because since this is an existing project, let's assume that you are not the one that started the project. You just started your work from an existing project. So as it is now, the next thing I will recommend you to do is to check your levels. And the reason I am asking you to check your level is, if you do not set your level before you start your modeling, when you start your modeling and you go back to start setting your level, your model is going to scatter. So I recommend that before you start modeling, ensure that you have set your levels. Okay, and in setting your levels, you can go to your elevation. You can go to your elevation on your project browser, and here you can see I have approach view A, left side view, rear view, right side view, and the rest of them. Let's go to approach view, the first one we are seeing here. I double click on it to go to that view, and when I go to that view, you see that there are existing levels before. Can you see that? There are existing levels, and let's check the levels. whether they are going to rhyme with our current project. And there are other things that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing reference plane. So let me delete reference plane because I don't have any business to do with reference plane now. It is from an existing project. And the reason I'm working on this is that if you are working on an existing project, you will see all this. Okay, so you delete those reference plane. In your own case, you may not have a reference plane. Okay, now you can see that this level was set from the original project. Now let's confirm. And I want to pick dimension. I want to use dimension to check it. To pick dimension, I go to modify tab and I pick dimension. I pick align dimension and I click on this level and go to the next level, click on it, and you can see that the original project, the height of the DPC is at 1200 mm. Okay, now let's check from this level to the next one. We have 3600 mm, and in between we have 150 mm, and from this place to the ceiling level we have 3600 mm, and from that ceiling level to this one that is called roof level, let's check what we have. We have 750 mm. Okay, now if you look at this design now, you see that they may not be too far from what we want to create. So it now depends on you to either adjust the levels before you start your modeling, if you are okay with all this. And in this case, our floor height is going to be at 1200 mm high, which is very much okay. And this also means that our headroom is going to be 3600 mm, and that is what we use nowadays. So this is very much okay. All right, so since we are okay with our level now, let's move to start modifying our walls. Okay, so assuming you want to place your wall, you have to go to the right floor plan. And if you want to go to your floor plan, you go to project browser. On the project browser, you will see ground floor plan. You simply double click on it and it's going to take you there. And once you are on the ground floor plan, you can roll your roller to zoom out. Alright, so I am on ground floor plan now, and if I want to pick wall, I will have to go to architecture tab and select my wall. By the way, there is one of my videos that I deal comprehensively about Revit user interface. Okay, so I have picked my wall now, and you can see that the type of wall it is. This wall was from the original project, and this wall is called fence wall 2. What if I want to modify it to the kind of wall I want? I don't want it to be fence wall. Once you select it like this, if you look at the property palette, you see that the name has come out. So if you click on this space, you will see other walls, other similar walls. You see similar walls here. Maybe the type of wall I want to use is something like 225 wall. In that case, I pick that 225 wall, and if I don't have anything to adjust much, I can go straight to my designing. But if I want to change some properties of this wall, in that case, I am going to select, click edit. Now we want to edit the parameter of this wall, and some of the parameters that we may edit are the thickness. So if I want to check the thickness, I click on this structure, and under the thickness you can see 225 here. Then on the material, this is where you can change the material. You may not see any button here, so if you click, that is when that button is going to come out. So some of these things, if you are not taught, you may not know. Okay, now I click on that, and here it takes me to where I can adjust the material. So if I want to adjust the material, I pick from any of this material, and I would like to duplicate it. Then give it a name like 5A, paint 5A. And here I can adjust the color. If I want to adjust the color, I click on this place, and I can pick any color and adjust the slider here. Okay, and click OK. Now you see another thing here. You see appearance here. If while I am on graphics, I check use render appearance, it means that whatever material I select here is the color that is going to appear here. But if I unselect this box, it means that any color I select here is going to override what is here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, I believe you understood it. If I select this, whatever color I select will not matter. So, but if I unselect this, then any color I select will override the color that is here. Alright, then what if I want to adjust the color and the kind of material that is here? Now what if you want to change the material of this wall? You can see there is another button here that says replace this asset. So you simply click on it, and here you see a bunch of folders here. You can click on this point and it will expand it, and once it expands it, you can choose from the kind of material I want to use. If I want to use brick, for instance, in that case I will look for masonry, and I click on this arrow to expand it, and I double click on this brick, and you can see we have several types of bricks here. So if I like this one, if it is this one I want to use, then there are two things you can do here. You can right click and select replace in editor, or you click on this icon that says replace the current asset in the editor with this asset. So anyone you select is going to work for you. So in this case, let's click on this, and the moment I click on this, you can see it has replaced it in the editor. You can see the material here, and it's actually looking like bricks. Okay, so if I come to this graphics and I select use render appearance, then the kind of color that is here will be the same kind of color that is here. Do you notice that? Okay, I'm sure you notice that. I click apply and click OK. I click OK. Okay, let's click OK. Let's click OK. It's still loading. The reason the system is a bit slow is that there are so many things on it. And click apply, click OK again. Alright, now you can see that the wall has been adjusted. Okay, now if I go to 3D now, if I go to 3D, let's save our project. Okay, can you see that the color of this wall is the color of that brick we choose earlier. Okay, this thing has zoomed out so much that I can no longer see it. Okay, can you see that? Alright, so that is the wall. We have been able to adjust the color of the wall and the thickness of the wall. We have been able to adjust the wall size. And let's try and use that wall that we have just created, and we will end the class. So if I go to the floor plan now and I select this wall, now that I've selected it, you can see the name here. That is the name. And for me to create this exact wall, after selecting it, I go to this create similar. Can you see my cursor? Create similar. I select create similar. And once you select that create similar, you will see the name of the wall here. Ensure that it is the name you want to use, and you start drawing. Start drawing. You can click on escape to get out of that. Okay, now I have gotten out of that, and for this particular one, I can select and create similar again and draw another one. Okay, and you can click escape to escape from that command. You can go to 3D to check what you have done. You can see what we have done in 3D. Right, so that is how we are going to pause this session. So I'm going to minimize this one now. You have seen, I want to assume that you have not been using Revit before. So in case you have not been using Revit before, you have seen the way I have started my project from an existing project. So this one is enough for you to go and get your system, get Revit installed on it, and start your design, start learning. With what I have shown you now, you can start your design from here. You already know how to adjust your walls, and you can start learning gradually from there. But there is another option that I want to show you, and that is, what if I can guide you? What if you don't have to waste time to be browsing through videos, several videos on YouTube? What if the journey can be faster for you? What if I become your mentor in Revit? That is going to fast forward your learning processes. Okay? And that is why I have created a Revit tutorial, which I title Revit Tutorial Masterclass. And in this class, I take you step by step from complete beginner until you become an expert in the use of Revit. And I am literally going to take you by the hand and groom you from beginning until you become an expert. But that one is a paid course. It's not going to be free. My own copy of Revit software. If you are gaining access today, I am going to give you my own copy of Revit software for free. You are also going to get V-Ray software from me for free. You are going to get some of my Revit families that I have been using over the years. You are going to get them for free from me. Then you are going to get some of my past projects so that you see how I model certain things. And you are also going to get Acrobat X Pro. Acrobat X Pro is used to convert drawing to PDF. Now somebody may ask, why do I need Acrobat X Pro? If you are an architect, for instance, after you have produced your drawing, you need to send it to your client for your client to look at it. Your client may not have Revit in his system, and even if he has it in his system, he may want to view your drawing on phone. So you need to convert it to PDF for him to be able to view it. And that is why Acrobat X Pro is very, very important. So I'm going to be giving it for free if you are getting access today. Okay? Now, if you calculate the total value of all the things you are going to be getting from me, you will have access to our community. Our community is a community of people that have been learning Revit from me. Some of them are already experts in Revit. You get to meet them. You'll be in the same group. Some of them are just joining us. You get to meet them. Some of them are architects. We have civil engineers. And you get to mingle with those professionals. So if you calculate all the values, and moreover, when you have any challenge while using Revit, you can simply pick on your phone and call me or text me on WhatsApp, and I will answer you. Okay? It's not like when you are your own mentor. If you are your own mentor and you happen to encounter a problem while using Revit, who are you going to ask? You may end up going to ask YouTube, and by the time you ask YouTube, you see several videos. You don't know which one answer your questions. And before you can get answer to your question, you may end up watching up to 5 videos. And that would have wasted so much of your time. So, but if you are inside the Revit Tutorial Masterclass, it's just a question of texting me, sending me message on WhatsApp, and I will reply you, and your question will be solved. So if you calculate all this value that I'm going to be giving you inside Revit Tutorial Masterclass, all the values is worth 900,000 naira. But I'm not going to charge you anything close to 900,000 naira. And I am not even going to charge you anything close to 200,000 naira. And somebody may say, will it be something like 100,000 naira? Actually, it's supposed to be something like 100,000 naira, but I am not going to charge up to that. Okay, so for today, the amount I charge for Revit Tutorial Masterclass is just 30,000 naira. And if you look at what you are gaining inside compared to the total value, if you compare the price to the total value you have, you see that it's almost free. Okay, but however, some people are still saying that it is too expensive. Now, if you are saying 30,000 naira is too expensive, let me ask you a question. What is the cost of losing a job because you are not good at using Revit architecture? You are not good at modeling with Revit. Maybe a job that would have paid you 100,000 naira per month, you end up losing it because you are not good at using Revit. Now, if you calculate that 100,000 naira per month over a year, how much is that? That is 1.2 million naira. You lost 1.2 million naira because you are not good at using Revit. But you are still saying that to pay 30,000 naira for Revit course is too expensive. Anyway, some people will not think like that. But what if you are an organization, you are a business owner, and you are called to submit a quotation, and the job would have earned you, let's say 10 million naira, and because you were not good at using Revit, your client says, I will get back to you, and you end up losing that contract. Now, what is the cost of losing that contract of 10 million naira compared to 30,000 naira? But some people will not think like that. They will say it's too expensive. All right? Anyway, the cost is 30,000 naira as of today, and when I started this course, the price was not 30,000 naira, but so many values have been added, and as of today I am still adding more values, and very soon the price is going to increase. So if you don't get it at 30,000 naira, maybe you may want to get it when the price have risen to 50,000 naira or 40,000 naira. In any case, it is your choice.